Hey, Roger Rowe here. I want to introduce a graphic to you. Maybe you've seen this graphic, maybe you haven't. This graphic is called the Cashflow Quadrant. And this is, I first encountered this book, and the name of the book was Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. He introduced this idea in his book, and man, did he nail it. He also went on to write another book that focused more on this specific idea called Cashflow Quadrant. I suggest you read both of those books to get a great perspective on where you are in life and where you are in your business. But I want to take just a minute to go through and explain the principles and concepts in each one of these quadrants for you. So, the employee quadrant, upper left, this is where this is 99, where 99.9% of us start out, and it's where a lot of people get stuck because they don't know what to do and they don't know what to get out of it. Now, cash flow is what this is all about. So let's talk about tax implications, which are the biggest factor in your personal income or personal economy, your personal cash flow. That's just the biggest one there'll ever be, the tax implications. So when you're an employee, you earn your money, you're taxed on your money, and then you get to spend what's left. Right? Let me say that again. You earn your money, you get taxed on your money, and then you get to spend whatever's left over. All right, the government set it up this way for a reason. These people who live in the employee quadrant are stuck their whole lives with that crappy principle. I never liked it. You know, when I worked in family business growing up. My uncle had a business. My old man had a business. My aunt had a business. I worked in all those businesses. And when I went to college, I had to go to work for somebody else. That's when I started getting a paycheck. And when I saw what they were doing to my money, I didn't like it. I knew I didn't want to be an employee. And you're probably in this group because you never wanted to be an employee either, or maybe you couldn't help it and you're finally trying to break out, or you may be at different points in the process. But this is the starting ground, and you have to work very hard. You have to be very diligent to get out of it because earn, tax, and spend is not very advantageous at all. So the next logical step for us is to become self-employed. Now, in my case, when I was an employee, I was doing side work, so I was self-employed. Monday through Friday, I was an employee. Saturdays and Sundays, I was self-employed. Now, that didn't mean I had employees to tell what to do or to do the work for me. What that meant was I had another job right here. Just like this job up here, I had another job here. I owned a job. Now, the tax implications are a little bit different than in this quadrant than they are in the employee quadrant, but still not that much better. However, I was able to save enough money from working in the employee quadrant and the self-employed quadrant to move myself eventually into the business quadrant. Now, this is the quadrant that you want to be in. And there are many different reasons for wanting to be in this quadrant. Number one, this is the great economy generator. Every capitalist government in the world makes sure that the rules are set so that this is the great economy generator. And what I mean by that is that business owners who used to be in this quadrant, they moved to this quadrant, now they start hiring employees. And what does that mean? Well, if this business owner has 10 employees, then there are 10 people paying in this quadrant taxes to the government, revenues to the government, than there would be if the business owner was doing all the work himself like he was here. So they make you strive to get into this quadrant by using tax rules. Tax rules are much, much better in this quadrant. It works the opposite as it does for an employee. Now, let's just recap. An employee, a person in the employee quadrant, gets to earn their money, then they're taxed on their money, and they get to spend what's left over. In this quadrant, in the business owner quadrant, you earn your money, you spend what's left over, and then you're taxed on whatever's left over of that. Now, obviously, you're going to have some personal taxes too. But if you know the rules, you can take advantage of the rules. The government knows this, and that's why they set it up this way. But this business person creates much, much more revenue for the government because they hire employees. These people are paying the most. But if you combine all of these employees and what they pay, the business owner himself is responsible for more than any single employee could ever be. Okay, and then you spend enough time in this quadrant, you're going to get to the investor quadrant. This is where your money works for you. And that's ultimately where we all want to be, right? You want to make sure you have enough money so you can retire. Your money's working for you, just like your business has been working for you for years. Now, the tax implications here are not as good as they are in the business owner sector or quadrant. These are going to be higher taxes. But if you're a little older, you don't have any debt because you've been working in this quadrant for long enough, you've paid everything off, now you've got some money, you're willing to pay 40%, 45% on your yearly earnings, which is usually just going to be interest. Your money's working for you, so you don't mind paying a little bit more, and you can do it because you don't have as much debt when you were working in these other three quadrants. So I just wanted to hopefully put that into perspective for some people who maybe haven't had that picture drawn for them before. And hopefully this will help you, number one, understand where you are in the cash flow system, no matter what country you live in, and help you create a goal for yourself on where you actually want to be in that cash flow system. So I'm happy to answer any questions. If you have those, just put them below, and I'll be back to answer them. Thanks for watching.